and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelly.
For those of you joining us for the first time, I am actually Kelly, and my fabulous, beautiful, handsome co-host is Daniel.
That I am, and I am beautiful, and I am handsome.
The way we format our show is first we start out with some news ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more, and we follow up with our comic book pull list of the week.
We've been trying to kick it off with story times. Do you have one this week?
I do have a story time. I do, finally. It's my story. No, your story.
No, not my story this week.
You
Your
keep
story.
that story to yourself. So I have a story time. So Daniel and I had the opportunity to go to the Food and Wine Festival this past week. That's like our favorite festival forever. Our favorite thing. If you guys haven't gone, go, because it's awesome. Anyway, we're standing there about to order something, and there's a guy at the cash register, and he's in a Kingdom Hearts shirt and a Kingdom Hearts hat. And the cashier's like, "Oh, that's really cool. I've been looking for Kingdom Hearts stuff. I love that game. Where did you find it?" And he's like, "Well, these I got at Hot Topic. But I found this," and he points to a little pin on his hat, which is Mickey Mouse in like a black robe, and he's like, "This is the only Kingdom Hearts thing I could find here at Disney." And I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's Star Wars. It's not even fucking Kingdom Hearts. That's Star Wars. And the girl's like, "Oh, that's so cool. I'm gonna go get one." And he's like, "Yes, I got it from that shop right over there." And he walks away. And I go, that's Star Wars.
So you're referring to the fact that Disney actually redoes their characters and redresses them up as Star Wars characters.
Correct.
So Mickey Mouse was redressed, what is that, the Emperor?
Yeah,
with the black robe?
Yes, that's
or
what he's
it could have been
wearing.
Darth Maul, but he didn't have the red face, right?
Right.
So it had to be the Emperor.
Yeah.
That's funny. So he thought that was Mickey when he has that black robe in the game.
He thought it was Organization 13 Mickey. And I'm like, nah, that should be Star Wars. And the park's like, Kingdom Hearts doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't even know if they can sell Kingdom Hearts stuff.
Probably not. There's probably some licensing agreement. I remember I did get one of the Disney pins, though, that was Kingdom Hearts, but I got it through Hot Topic. I don't even know where that shit is, but, like, it's the coolest pin ever.
And it will be on the following system, Kingdom Hearts 3, the latest one in the series, that is now getting a price drop. And that is the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, so Target, my favorite Target, who's always given us deals on our PlayStation stuff. They accidentally leaked a price drop through a graphic on their site stating, $50 price drop on the PS4, the best place to play now, $349.99.
The graphic has since been taken down, but people were very quick to screenshot it. So $50 price drop. It's been rumored because the PS4 has gotten that price drop in other countries and finally came around to the US right before the holiday season. Makes sense. I think the Xbox One recently went through a price drop as well. Mm-hmm. So $349 is reasonable as opposed to the $400, which even then, compared to what they originally released the PS3 at, $400 was a good price. And we ended up waiting for a bundle, which ended up being the Arkham Knight bundle. And that, in that case, we actually saved $60 because the game would have cost us that much. So either way, we paid something similar to the $349.99. But if you did wait, you could actually get that bundle with Uncharted. And then you would have gotten essentially the same deal, but possibly a better one. If you were to pay $60 for Uncharted, you would essentially pay for the PlayStation 4, $290.
Wow, that's amazing. Do they always release their systems with Uncharted? Because I feel like the PS3 had an Uncharted bundle.
It did, yeah. So far the last two systems have had an Uncharted bundle, and it really depends on how well it does.
Right.
They even did the Last of Us bundle, which did really, really well. So you take the very popular game, very well-received game, bundle it up with the system, and you're good to go. Which Arkham Knight was really, really great for us. A game that hadn't even released yet. They knew that people would have bought the system for this game, and they tried to capitalize on that. So that was awesome. If you've been waiting for a price drop, now's the time. Right before the holiday season. Usually, I think next month they're going to start to drop, but if not by the end of this month, that's when you'll see that price drop on the PlayStation 4.
I feel like, so we've told the story on the podcast before about how a few years ago, Target graphics like mislabeled what were they called?
The PlayStation Plus cards.
The PlayStation Plus cards, right. And they sold the 1 year for $15, $14.
Yeah,
they
we've told the
mislabeled
story.
it. Yes. So I feel like the guy who fucked that up probably fucked this up too. How did he not lose his
Just
job?
the same person.
I feel like it's the same person just like leaking stuff, price dropping stuff. Maybe he's trying to buy these things. He knows what he's doing.
Typically, with these larger corporations, there's so many people with their hands in the bowl that someone's going to fuck up and screw it all up. And it happened in this case. Somehow it accidentally, maybe they were doing like a test page and accidentally published it instead of doing a draft on it, or someone found the way to access that draft and pulled it right up. Either way, we now know that there will be a price drop, and the rest of the companies will obviously be sure to follow. That's when you'll see like Target's doing this kind of deal, or GameStop's doing a free controller with their bundle, all kinds of stuff. That's when you'll do the research right before you get that holiday gift, whether it's for someone else or for yourself.
One game that I would love to pick up for our PS4, though, is Lego Dimensions.
Yeah, this is the latest Toys to Life video game, and it actually sold better than Skylanders Superchargers and Disney Infinity 3.0. So those are the two latest from those competitors.
Well, I mean, yeah, do you want to play with some weird Spyro shit, or do you want to play as Batman? I mean, come on.
You have, on the Lego Dimensions side, you got Batman, you got
Awesome.
Back to the Future.
Awesome.
You've got The Simpsons,
Awesome.
Jurassic World.
Done.
Disney Infinity has all the Disney characters, the Marvel characters, and Star Wars. So one of them spent more money than the other. WB clearly. They even got the original voice actors. So you got Marty McFly sounding exactly the same.
See, and that wasn't just for kids. That was for adults. They marketed this game towards adults, and I'm like eating it up.
Yeah, they did an awesome job marketing it. All the different videos that they released, even tying it into the Lego movie. You have a lot of those characters, which was wildly popular. Putting that in Lego Dimensions, and people that do own the game that I've talked to, they say it plays exactly like a Lego game.
Ugh,
except you have
so
like
good.
the additional levels now that you have to purchase as a toy, but it's a toy that is actually a Lego that you build yourself. So that's kind of the upside to the figurine that you normally get, which would only make for a display. But with Lego, you can put it with your other Lego pieces.
Well, right, but what if they gave you like a Lego Sinestro and you had a Sinestro level?
I would love that.
You would buy that shit. Like, for real. Just make something that people love and they'll buy it.
And this is only like the first wave, too.
Yeah.
Like, this is what's going to bring them through the holiday season. Who knows what they'll come out with next year?
If they came out with a Harley Quinn, I'd buy it. Done. Ra's al Ghul. Purchased. Cha-ching. So this would make it the third best-selling game in the genre behind Skylanders Giants and Skylanders Swap Force.
At minimum, you're still investing, if you want, from what I remember, every single level and every unlockable at its base. So not every playable character, but every level. They were saying, I think, at least $90 is what the initial investment would cost you.
If I had time and I was not broke, this is definitely something that I would invest in. Because I love Lego games. They're so much fun. They're good for kids. They're good for adults.
Yep.
Like, it's something great, you know, anybody with kids that you can play with your kid and enjoy things that you remembered, like Back to the Future, like Ghostbusters, but with your child now. But, I mean, even as someone without kids, I want to run around and play these games. I want to be like, yeah, Jurassic World, it's a motherfucking T-Rex. Unfortunately, I don't even have time to play the games that I own already.
And the coolest thing is you can actually mix these different franchises together. So you can have Doc Brown riding the Batmobile.
Oh, that's so cool.
So there's a lot of mixing up where they...
We could have Batman with the giant T-Rex that eventually ends up in his Batcave.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Why haven't we played this?
This is going to be one of those games that I know once the Toys to Life genre comes and goes, it's going to be one of those that's like, well, get the base game for $20 and get the figurines for $5. That's when I'm going to jump on it. Once like the whole hype is gone and all the toys and all that stuff is already released and people are just trying to get rid of it because they've kind of gotten over it, that's probably when I'll jump on it. It's like, I'll get this on the cheap. I'll get all the expansions for less than $100. And the characters too on top of that.
But I want to play it now. Buy me this.
Oh, you just have to save up for it. Just like everyone else.
I'm so poor. I need things like groceries and electricity. I hate adult life.
So now we can move forward with probably one of the biggest conventions that we have all year long. It rivals San Diego Comic-Con, and that is some stuff coming straight out of New York Comic-Con 2015.
So in a similar move from a few years ago when Stark Industries handed out free flash drives, LexCorp Industries is providing complimentary Wi-Fi at this year's New York Comic-Con.
And we're going to have way more Comic-Con news next week because at the day we're recording this, New York Comic-Con has only gone by for one day, which is a Thursday, and they're going to announce way more stuff. All the big companies are holding out for Saturday, and we're absolutely going to cover all our favorite bits next week. But this is really clever. So from New York Comic-Con's Frequently Asked Questions page, the quote from them is, LexCorp unites humanity through technology. We believe in technology as a means of communication, unification, and a source of inspiration. To access the Wi-Fi on-site at the Javits Center, connect to the LexCorp network from the list, access the Wi-Fi on-site, available networks. You will automatically be redirected to the LexCorp Wi-Fi login page where you can enter your email address and click Connect to gain access to the network. LexCorp, together we can build a better world.
This is the coolest thing ever!
I want them to do more stuff like this. And who knows what you will get if you put in your email address. Maybe you'll get like a fake web page with all of the different history of LexCorp, maybe even a bit of a sneak peek at what he's working on, and maybe that'll somehow tie in loosely into the movie. I don't even know. Like, they could do it like they did with the Dark Knight marketing, where you had to solve like a puzzle, and then you got the full image of the Joker, and that was the first time they saw Heath Ledger as the Joker. And then when they went around the different cities, that they ended up dropping off certain packages with the Joker's handwritten like newspapers and changing all the websites with the different handwriting. Once people solved all that, they got like a trailer, which eventually was available to everyone. So I want them to do more of that with Batman v Superman.
Well, I remember they did a lot with the Vote for Harvey Dent stuff too.
Yes, they did. Actual website with Harvey Dent. You can see what he was for and what he was trying to change in Gotham. All of that was in there. There were several fake web pages. Even if it was like a tiny Gotham company, they even had that existing, which would link over to the Harvey Dent page.
That's
and
awesome.
All the different sponsorships. It was really, really well done. And hopefully this is just the start of that huge marketing push when we get to March of next year.
Hopefully. I always love clever Wi-Fi names, though. I think ours is the best.
What are some that you've seen that you've really liked?
FBI security van.
Social security check.
Yep. I've seen that one too. There's a bunch of funny ones. And of course, like going through Pinterest, people will put, what they've chosen as theirs.
There are people that name their phone Titanic, so then when you sync up to something, it says that Titanic has sync.
People are so funny. I named my phone the Bat Computer. So when I connected things, it just says Bat Computer.
That's pretty awesome. So there's more coming out of the DC movie news. And it is one that we haven't heard too much of. We've seen that there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes, but nothing that's been too officially announced lately.
Right, so in spite of the recent departure of Guillermo del Toro from Justice League Dark, the film will continue to full production under the guidance of producer Scott Rudin, who did Social Network.
And of course, the film is titled Dark Universe, which will go with the Dark Universe comic that is releasing from DC. The film will follow Constantine as he pulls together a team made up of Swamp Thing, Zatanna, Deadman, and Etrigan. So sort of like a Nick Fury-style role for Constantine, except you're seeing it all play out in the movie instead of at the end of the credits and all of that.
Do I get to choose who plays these peoples?
Would be nice if they used the Constantine from the television show,
yes.
But I think they're... that's something DC is actually actively doing, is they're separating the television news from the movie stuff.
They just... Not with this movie, they shouldn't.
The only thing to keep in mind is if they try to tie this into the other Batman, like Batman v Superman or the Justice League movies, then if you use that Constantine, who is going to appear in Arrow, you have to acknowledge that Arrow and that Flash and all of those exist in that universe. This is the problem with trying to mix those different universes together. You let the television thing do its own thing, but now you're kind of tied to whatever other actions they play.
But I like that Constantine.
And that Constantine is coming back in Arrow.
Can Daniel Craig play Constantine?
I'd be okay with that.
It's just because you like Daniel Craig.
I do love Daniel Craig.
Okay. And then I get to choose the other people. Swamp Thing, No, Etrigan is going to be played by Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Who is Black Adam, but he's also apparently going to be Etrigan.
He's also going to be Etrigan. Swamp Thing. There's a nice tree in our front yard. He can play Swamp Thing. Dead Man.
Dead Man can be Doug Jones, because you got to put him in there somewhere.
Okay. I was going to say Liam Neeson, because Ra's al Ghul died.
He hasn't, and he stayed dead, so Dead Man.
Yeah, but that's okay. No, I like Dougie Jones. And then Zatanna is nobody, because I'm cutting her from the movie.
Why are you cutting Zatanna? What do you have against Zatanna?
I don't like Zatanna.
Nothing against Zatanna at all. She never did anything.
I don't like her.
She's cool in the DC Bombshells book.
Yeah, but...
She was cool in the animated series.
No, because she was trying to get with Batman, and I didn't like that.
She was cool in the series with Paul Dini.
I don't like Zatanna.
And in the Black Canary
Don't
Zatanna
like her.
book. She's a cool character.
I don't like her.
You leave Zatanna alone.
I don't like her. And because I don't like her, she's cut from the movie.
In spite of Kelly's picks, no cast or director have been put together, but production is still expected to begin next year, somehow, magically.
However, magic, because they're the Justice League Dark.
It's not going to happen. It's going to be delayed.
Not when I send them my list of people who are going to play these things.
And
then they're going to be like, that's it, perfect, continue production. Do I get to pick the director too?
Who would you have direct?
Guillermo del Toro.
He walked away, though.
Okay. What was his name? Your favorite guy?
Darren Aronofsky.
I was going to say Chip Zdarsky. I'm like, that's not him. That's not him at all. Oh, no. Who's my favorite? He did Shutter Island.
Scorsese.
Yeah! Can it be a Scorsese movie?
That too.
There would be like a super twist in the end. Like they're all really dead or something, but only Dead Man's alive.
Would you be okay with the premise of Constantine putting together this team? Would you want to see more characters than what they've put forth right now?
No, this is already too many characters. We need to cut off the time.
You think this is too many?
No. This is fine. This is great to like establish a little team. Mm-hmm. It's perfect. And I don't see Constantine putting together a team. I feel like something big would happen and Constantine would be like, nah, bitch, I got this shit. And then the other people would be like, well, we gotta help you anyway, because it's a movie. Maybe
if it's a Constantine villain, then he's at the center of it, and he'll know how that villain works, and he'll need the different elements from these different characters to defeat him. That would be a good premise. You could do something like that.
You could. Or maybe they can all turn into kids so we can see baby Etrigan again.
That would be great. I'm just happy that they'll make somehow Etrigan work. Mm-hmm. More excited for Swamp Thing. Really want to see how that works on the big screen. I think they're going to go full CGI with him. Who knows? Maybe they'll pull something like Killer Croc.
He'll probably be like Groot.
Most likely, yeah. And I think that's what audiences want to see more than anything, especially after what happened with... A lot of people criticized the Fantastic Four thing, like they don't like the way he looks, and that was a full prosthetics. Some people were criticizing the Killer Croc, including ourselves, and then we saw him in motion in the Suicide Squad trailer, and we thought he looked a lot better, so that was awesome. Speaking of DC and the movie television news... Do you feel like it hurts them more that they're not tying in the television and the movie stuff into one universe and just kind of letting it all play out on its own?
I don't think so. I think it's actually really smart to keep them separate because there's certain things that you can do in a movie that you can't do in a TV show and vice versa. I mean, whenever you watch these things, you notice that they both have a very different feel. So it's smarter to keep them separate because then... If you need to do something different to make a movie work, then people aren't going, well, in the TV show, that never would have happened. Or,
right.
This isn't my Flash from the TV show when it's supposed to be. Television shows are just so much more lighthearted. You can't really get in-depth like you can in movies. So it's really, really smart to keep them separate because, these are two different entities entirely. Am I sad because I really like TV Constantine? Yeah. I really like TV Flash? Yeah. I would love to see them on the big screen. But I'll just deal with my little tiny television.
I think when people complain about that, they're forgetting the timeline here. And that is when these televisions got up and running, the shows got up and running, we didn't have an established DC movie universe. Mm-hmm. Maybe you just had Man of Steel, but that wasn't a guaranteed success. They didn't know if they were going to really build off of that. So instead, they put the shows out there. Thankfully, they were really successful. But again, that was still before, and I still say it all the time, that the kickoff is going to be Batman v Superman for the rest of the DC cinematic universe. That's where it's going to start, and that's where we're going to see all these characters from all these different places. And that is, 2 years after the television show started, which are all great, and they're doing their own thing. They're making their own set of money. But even Jeff Johns has said in the past that if they really wanted to tie in the television and the movie universe, they could do that. They would do a multiverse type of thing. So you would have the television version of Flash, meaning the cinematic version of Flash, and maybe their version of like Gotham's Batman. Maybe that kid meeting Ben Affleck Batman in the future, and that's even if they wanted to. Like that's still an option. That's always one way they can make it work. And with the DC universe, the multiverse is a huge thing with them, so it would fit.
Little Bruce meets Batman. He's like, "Ah, shit, this is what I become." Fuck, Alfred was right.
I should have quit.
Seal up the door, Alfred.
We're quitting.
We're done. I've seen the future, and I don't like it.
So more DC television news. We've got a new cartoon coming from Cartoon Network.
Yeah, so according to a leaked image at Cartoon Network's headquarters, the next DC animated series will be JLA, launching in fall of 2016.
While Cartoon Network Canada's Facebook page confirmed the date and the show, Cartoon Network USA had this to say.
We cannot confirm that a new Justice League series is in development. Cartoon Network US makes those announcements, not Cartoon Network Canada.
Oh, excuse me.
That was super sassy.
Like they were like, they should have shut their mouth and let us talk. That's exactly what they said.
Right.
No other details have been given. Who's writing it, who's cast, what the designs are going to be. We just saw like the silhouettes of the different characters, and they do look like they're going to be different than what we saw in Young Justice, like the sort of sleeker, taller designs. These have like more stylized versions to the costumes from what I could see. So they've got the bigger torso, that kind of thing. One thing I was sort of hoping for was if they wanted to use the Young Justice designs and go off of that Justice League, and then you can still have the Young Justice characters make appearances or have their own episodes in the show, and then you would have carried that audience over that way. That would have been smart too. But I'm also thinking like it's been 2 years, I think, since Young Justice ended, and people are still demanding Young Justice stuff, and I feel like it's time to get over it. Like, we're over it, and we're huge on Young Justice.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of over it.
But every single fucking post that DC puts up relating to cartoons or television, people say, bring back Young Justice. Where's my Young Justice? And it's like, they're not going to bring it back. It's done.
But if you don't say something, you might never know. It could happen.
I guess it could happen. Same with Green Lantern, the animated series. They never brought that back. And it could still be that it takes place in the same universe, that maybe this is the Justice League from Young Justice. But I personally don't see that happening with the new designs. So either way, it's cool that there's another Justice League cartoon coming. I am going to compare it to the Bruce Timm universe, though.
Of course.
And Dwayne McDuffie, more than anything. That was Dwayne McDuffie's Justice League world. He wrote so many of them. He directed so many episodes. And Bruce Timm helped design a lot of the characters. Do you feel like no matter how good this cartoon's going to be, Justice League from the 90s, 2000s, it's always going to be your Justice League?
Probably. Just like Batman the Animated Series will always be my Batman. Like, that's what you grew up with. But I still want to see this show be great and do well, because that will be the Justice League for somebody else. I will say, though, this does give me hope. Apparently you can fuck up at Target and get a job with Cartoon Network Canada and leak more stuff. So all you Target workers out there is hope.
There is. Fired, head on over to Cartoon Network and you'll be fine.
Cartoon Network Canada, though.
Yes, very specific, because if you go to the US, they won't tolerate any of that.
No.
So now we can move forward with some comic book news, kicking it off with some indie stuff from Dynamite.
Dynamite will be relaunching Red Sonja, Vampirella, and Deja Taurus with all new redesigns in 2016.
Yeah, we took a look at these redesigns, and first off, Red Sonja. The book's going to be written by Margaret Bennett, who is currently doing DC Comics Bombshells, and art by Anik, who did Legendary Red Sonja.
Good job, Anik. You have an artist name.
That he or she does. So, what'd you think of the Red Sonja redesign?
I thought it was awesome. It's still very reminiscent of the outfits that we saw in Gail Simone's run of Red Sonja. So I don't really feel like they changed her that much. She is much more covered than the chainmail bikini, obviously. But we did see a lot of outfits where she was that covered also. So, still looks good. Still looks like my Red Sonja.
Yeah, Gail Simone actually had some input when they did the Red Sonja redesign. So it very much fits that this could look like something straight out of the Red Sonja book. And with the writers and the artist, it kind of gave us hope. We're like, well, Gail Simone's off the book, but it still looks like they have a strong team behind it. So maybe we'll give it a shot. We'll give it 3 issues.
Mm-hmm. Next, we have Deja Torres, which is written by Frank Barbary, who does Avengers World.
Yeah, that's the next redesign that Dynamite announced. And she's definitely probably I wouldn't say the most different from the 3, but compared to what she used to wear, it was essentially just like nipple coverings. She definitely got more covered up. And her redesign also looks great. Mm-hmm. Along with Red Sonja's, it's probably my second favorite of the bunch.
And the last redesign is Vampirella, which is going to be written by Kate Leth, who works on Adventure Time.
So full-on relaunch on these characters, and it feels like these 3 will be the centerpiece to this universe. Of course, there'll be crossovers. Vampirella, probably the most covered up and the vastly redesigned of the bunch. She's got like a jacket now. She's got the shorts and long boots. It looks all right. I was never too big on Vampirella. I think this is a huge change from the original design. So I don't know. If I were a Vampirella fan, I might have a bigger problem with it, or maybe I'd be more in support of it. But I'm kind of neutral on it.
I feel like all these redesigns are definitely trying to pull in more women readers. Definitely 100%. Because it's all something that you could cosplay as and feel like a badass wearing any of their costumes.
And they're a lot more modernized, too. Mm-hmm. They're not just sticking to what they originally started with, which back then they were comics appealing to teenage boys and older men, and now there's a much bigger market, so you've got to capitalize on that. So I applaud Dynamite for taking a chance and doing a fresh start on these characters, and we'll be on board with Red Sonja. I don't know how Deja Torres or Vampirella is going to do. Even regularly on a monthly basis, it's not like it's setting the world on fire. It's always just like... I wouldn't even call it like a middle-of-the-road seller. It just does okay for the most part. It's Dynamite, which we love. They're friends with the show, but they have tons of room to grow, and hopefully this is the right direction for all of them.
Our last little bit of comic news is that Frank Miller's cover to his written and drawn mini-comic for The Dark Knight 3, The Master Race, was shown off last week.
Straight out of DC Comics, and we both took a look at it. First off, the mini-comic will be co-written with Brian Azzarello, who's doing the main series as well. Colors by Alex Sinclair. Now, this cover kind of went all over the internet. Mm-hmm. Headlines read, DC lets Frank Miller draw Superman's penis. And Frank Miller draws a shitty cover. And people were shitting on the book. We've both seen the picture. It has Superman, and there's 2 of them. The first one with Batman, people thought was okay, but it received a lot less attention than the Superman one. Mm-hmm. And that is a very cartoonized, or a cartoon-style version of Superman, in which he's knocking the atom off his shoulder, or whatever, maybe off the air, and his 2 fists are clenched, his legs are spread, and people think that they see the outline of a dick in his shorts. And his whole face is all scrunched up, and it's in that Frank Miller style, but it is more cartoon than what we saw in The Dark Knight Returns 25, 30 years ago now.
I don't think this is his penis, but if it is, who cares? Like, why does it matter?
It goes right back to Detective Comics 27. Do you remember that, about a year or 2 years ago, in which Catwoman was on the variant cover for Detective Comics, and she was wearing like this very see-through silk thing, and you can practically see the nipples popping out of it, and people were very quick to talk about it and also hate on it too. And once again, Frank Miller comes back, does one of these covers, and someone said, if you want to see Superman's penis, you will see Superman's penis. Like, it's people are saying that they're putting it in their mind, so that's what they're seeing. They don't think it was intentional. I'm on the same boat as you. Like, even if it was intentional, it's Frank Miller. He's fucking earned being able to draw the outline of Superman's dick. Like, who gives a shit? He gave us The Dark Knight Returns. He gave a lot of people Sin City. He's done all kinds of great work. Why can't he do Superman's dick on a cartoon Superman?
Yeah, do it. Just go ahead. Whatevs. No rules.
How do you feel about that?
I don't care. Like, so what if it is? So what if it isn't? Like, I really don't think that it is. I think that's just the way he drew it, and people are perverts, and I'm not gonna lie, if I looked at the picture and nobody had mentioned that to me, I'd probably be like, is that his penis? But people are gonna see what they want to see in this picture. That doesn't give them the right to go and shit on this picture and say it's terrible.
Well, they're comparing it to his previous work. A lot of people are taking the Dark Knight Returns Superman that he drew and putting it next to the one that is coming out right now in 2015.
The penis Superman.
Right. And they're saying, look how far he's fallen from grace. Look at how he isn't in his prime anymore.
Well, yeah, he's old.
This is almost 30 years later.
Yeah.
Like, every artist is going to change up their style. They're going to grow. They're going to continue. Greg Capullo, who is very much loved right now, and we love Greg Capullo, I can guarantee you it's not going to look exactly like it looks now, his work, in 30 years. He's going to have a new refined style or something different to based on how he feels on the characters, or maybe he's just tired of drawing his style in a certain way and he tries to evolve from that. Artists are never satisfied with their work. It's only because of the deadlines that they turn anything in. But they're always going to continue to grow. They're always going to try to do something new. And with Frank Miller, who suffered a stroke last year, and he couldn't even hold a pencil at that point, and now he's given us this, I think that's awesome. Like, I think it's great that he wanted to return to comics, first of all, that he wanted to return to Batman, is getting help from Brian Azzarello, is doing an entire mini comic for everyone, as well as the covers and the book, writing it. And people are just destroying him on the internet. And I kind of feel bad for the guy. And a lot of industry professionals who have met him are like, he is trying, and this kind of sucks that this is how he's repaid. Like, I came back to comics,
right,
and this is happening right now. They're not seeing the artwork that I have now and what I'm doing at this point. This is what I want to draw Superman like. This is what I want to draw Batman like. And I bet you even back then, with The Dark Knight Returns, he was getting criticism for the way he drew Batman, as they call him. I think they referred to him as Fat Man because he was so big and bulky, and I thought he looked cool. We think it looks cool now, and who knows what they thought back then.
Right. I mean, that's so disheartening, though, as an artist, when you're coming and doing this, you know, for your fans and for people who love this book, and that's the feedback that you're getting. That's horrible. Y'all should be ashamed. Y'all assholes. Like, stop it. Go apologize to that man.
We've got great listeners. I'm sure all of them were like, what'd I do? I thought
well,
it's
I
awesome.
mean, not you. I'm speaking to, like, the internet in general. Although, I do hope 30 years from now, we're sitting here across from each other going, oh, Greg Capullo, he drew Batman's penis.
Following in his footsteps. Who knows? Maybe this will be a work that in another 10, 15 years is going to be seen as something great. And maybe it's not. Maybe it is that Frank Miller is past his prime. But at the end of the day, you could still say this is what he accomplished as an artist. Why can't you just let him do whatever work he wants to now, especially when he suffered a tragedy like he did last year?
All right. Can we get a Frank Miller Beyond, and then Frank Miller can train him to be another Frank Miller? But he'll always be Frank Miller fake.
At the end of the day, I just want to summarize it by saying it's art. It's not going to be this. It's not going to read to everyone the exact same way. It's not going to be appreciated by everyone. But hopefully the story, if you don't like the art and you're still giving the comic a shot, even though this is only a little portion of the book, it's only the mini comic in The Dark Knight 3, hopefully the story can pull you through it. And just like we do with Silver Surfer, I know a lot of people out there don't like Michael Allred's art, but Dan Slott's story could be pulling them through it. In our case, we like both, so that's awesome. But Dan Slott's story is so good, you should be able to overlook Michael Allred's art if for some reason you don't like it.
Before we get into our comic book pull list of the week, we do want to mention our sponsors, the Dr. Phillips Center at the Walt Disney Theater. Yeah,
we want to tell Brokettes in the Central Florida area about Pokemon Symphonic Evolutions.
Yes.
It's the one you were waiting for. This one's going to play on Friday, December 4th at 8 p.m.
Pokemon Symphonic Evolutions has become the must-see video game concert of the year, giving fans and newcomers of all ages a chance to experience the evolution of the Pokemon franchise like never before.
So they're going to play music from every single game,
yes,
all the main ones.
Can I play the music?
You can play the music along with them. That's the bike one, right?
Either that or it was the Boat Town where you got on the SSN. I think it was
definitely the bicycle. The one you were singing was definitely the bicycle.
I think I just rode my bicycle through the Boat Town all the time. That's what I think. Oh wait, and then there's do 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 down 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 down.
It makes for a good YouTube creepypasta.
Yes.
If you ever look that up, what is it? Lavender Town. They're like, kids died when they heard this song because there's this frequency that only kids can listen to, and it fucked with their mind and made them crazy and made them want to kill themselves. I'm like, that never happened. Never once.
I hope they have Pokemon noises at this thing too.
I hope so. They're going to have a big screen from people that have gone to the show and other ones with showing different clips from the actual concert or from the actual games. And tickets do start at $25. So those are going to be like the balcony seatings. And if you want something better, you do have to pay more. But the way that most of these theaters are designed, you're able to hear it from all different areas. So, if you can afford $25 tickets, go to that. If you can afford a little bit more, then be a little bit closer to the actual instruments and all of that. But otherwise, you can get your tickets at www.drphillipscenter.org.
Can they play that during this thing?
That's a Pokemon cry, right?
Yeah. No, that's all the Pokemon cries.
Every single one.
Go ahead, pick a Pokemon and I'll give you its cry.
Charizard. Ditto. Chansey. Pikachu.
Pika! You need to learn your Pokemon cries.
So we are getting a little bit closer to the next Patreon goal.
Hey!
Which is the alphonic upgrade to every single one of our episodes, including the Let's Plays on YouTube, including the unboxings. And that is available at www.patreon.com/thereasonsimBroke.
We do want to give a special shout out to one of our Patreon supporters, though. This week it's Christopher, who on Twitter is @TheIrishOnFire.
He's about to have a kid, actually, this month. Yeah?
Wow, that's amazing. Congratulations. Sorry for all the sleep you're going to miss out on.
Yeah, it's got to be frightening, but exciting at the same time. So, huge congratulations to Christopher, and thank you so much for being a supporter on Patreon. If you want your shout out for as little as $1 a month, you can get your shout out as well every single month. And there's, of course, different perks depending on how much you donate. And that's another way you can support us as we all work together to help the podcast improve. In this case, next Patreon goal, better audio.
We just want to preface, though, our podcast will always be free for you guys. The best way you can support us is with reviews, comments, letting other people know about us, getting our name out there. We love to hear from you guys, and most of all, we do this for you.
Now we can move on to the comic book reviews of the week.
Comics!
We've got 3 indie books and 1 DC comic, so it was a tiny week for us.
Small week for comic books.
We got a huge one next week, though.
Oh.
Tons. Lots of books next week.
But I work so much.
Gotta have the podcast on time.
I just want to sleep.
Friend of the show, Anne Bonny #6, written and drawn by Tim Yates.
Wonderful book, as always. Can it be tied for my pick of the week? Can I have 2 picks of the week?
You've had it in the past. You can have 2 picks.
That's right. I can do whatever I want. Don't tell me what I can and cannot do.
It's your book. It's you as a pirate.
It is. It's me as a pirate. And can I say every outfit that she's ever worn, I want to wear myself. Especially this one. I wanted to put it on and be like, yeah, Kelly, you're a badass. Go ahead and fight some mofos.
So this one's the end of the next arc from the Anne Bonny series. Mm-hmm. And as we saw, we had an established villain about 4 issues ago. And maybe a little less than that. I feel like it was early, though. And now we have like the outcome, the confrontation between Anne Bonny, the rest of the crew, all the friends that she's made throughout the whole series, and the main bad guy.
Yeah, and there was a super twist in the end. And I was like, this is so cool. Never would have guessed. It was awesome.
Excellent setup, and now with the trade paperback coming out, I want to say in December, you can now check out the entirety of the story and appreciate it more, because you can go back and you're like, okay, so let me go back and see where these characters started, where they were introduced.
Yeah, let's see how Kelly became a pirate, yo.
And how Kelly became a pirate.
That's what they should call it, not Anne Bonny. How Kelly became a pirate. Great book, guys, though. Definitely recommend picking up the trade. Great for adults and children. I feel like, as a child, I would have read this and be like, yeah, I'm going to be a pirate when I did want to be a pirate when I grow up, please.
It's definitely kid-friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would put this in the kids section, and I think it'd be fine. Mm-hmm. Next book comes from Image Comics.
Yes, this one cannot be put in the kids section.
Nope, not at all.
It's Paper Girls #1. This is written by Brian K. Vaughan with art by Cliff Chang, and the colorist is Matt Wilson.
Your hero, Brian K. Vaughan.
Yes, I love Brian K. Vaughan. Now if only he could team up with Fiona Staples again.
Cliff Chang is awesome, though.
I mean, he is. He's awesome, but Fiona Staples, my girl.
It's tough. I really, really like Cliff. So when I saw this solicited, I'm like, Brian and Cliff together in one book, I have to get it. There's no way we can. even if that's a love story too. This one story was great. You're following this group of girls who deliver the newspaper every single morning. And they come to meet each other, and they're all different personalities. So some are rougher than the other, some are brand new to the gig, and some are struggling. The personalities are so colorful that I immediately like every single one of them, even though some might be controversial, as we're going to talk about in a minute. But the story is not something I expected. It's very much sci-fi, and it's not how it was. I don't feel like this is how it was marketed, and I think it was a nice surprise.
Yeah, this is actually my second pick of the week, because I can have two of them. Really, really good. Like you said, all the characters are really colorful, really memorable, as we've seen with Brian K. Vaughan. For those of you who have listened to the podcast, know that Saga is my favorite comic book of all time. I miss it. I'm going through Saga withdrawals. But you can definitely see, of course, his writing. It has the same kind of feel, the same flow with the story. You're drawn in from page one. Like, this book opens up and you're like, boom, you're in the story, you're with these characters, you're going on this journey with them. And like you said, there's an interesting sci-fi twist. Like, I thought it was going to be, like, really horror and dark and creepy. And I was kind of scared. I'm like, no, don't do it. And then I'm like, oh, it's just that thing. But I think we're going to see really crazy stuff start to happen. So excited to be on this journey. It's a great beginning.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was already sold out at your local comic book shop, Brokettes, but it is still in print. So if your shop can order you a copy, definitely jump on it. It is an excellent comic, and it would have been... Man, there were so many good books this week, but yeah, very good. Not my pick of the week, though. We did want to talk about something that has been circulating in the news about this particular issue, actually. And that is, with the Marvel books, there's a reprinting of Miracle Man that got censored because the word faggot was in the trade paperback, and it was in the original book from the 90s, and it does actually appear in Paper Girls here, in which one of the main characters does call one of the bullies faggot, which upsets him, and it continues, and one of the other characters says, oh, you really shouldn't use that because it's demeaning. And very quickly, though, people were offended. There were a couple of gay comic shop owners that are now boycotting this comic and stuff from Brian K. Vaughan because they did use that word in a comic.
I'm not trying to be insensitive. I'm really not. I understand that is offensive and that it offends people. But within that, you have to be able to understand when it's being used as being offensive towards somebody, and when it's just in a story because that's part of the character's personality. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you nailed it with the second one, I think, because this character isn't exactly... It's not a polite character. She's rough around the edges.
Right.
She's in trouble all the time. So it's someone that's probably going to be more likely to be looser with her language than the other characters in the story. The main one is the one that actually corrects her and says, please don't use that language. Not like that, but it's all a part... It's integrated into the comic itself.
Again, I'm not trying to be offensive, but it would be like, okay, so there's a very popular South Park joke that gingers have no souls. If every time somebody came up to me and said, oh, bet you don't have a soul.
And that does happen all the time.
And it happens all the fucking time. But if I got offended every time somebody said that because I thought they were saying it to me personally and not trying to make a joke, and I'm not saying in this instance it's trying to make a joke, I'm just trying to show a parallel between the two things, then, I mean, that's not the right response. This is a character in a story not trying to offend anybody, just being who she is, and that's a part of who she is.
I am against censorship in comic books, so even if it is offensive, even if they were to say spick to the character, to the reader, and I'm like, oh shit, like first I'd be like, it's for me, right. Like this comic is just for me. Like even that, I'd be like, it's a comic book, it's artwork, don't censor it. Let the writer, if you don't like the writer, don't buy the book. That's how you stop a comic from coming out, and that's fine.
But, I mean, the fact that these people are boycotting the book because of that, I think that's silly.
If I owned a comic shop and there was something in a book that I did not agree with, get it for your subscribers, get what sales do, separate yourself from the business. Exactly,
and that's what you have to, like... It's so hard for me to talk about this right now because I'm really, like, some of my best friends are gay. I'm not trying to be insensitive over the fact that this offended them, but it's silly that it offended them.
some people out there, right?
Right. It's silly that they read that one word and took it completely out of context and said, well, now I can't carry this for anybody.
Yeah, it's very awkward because I understand that it was being used, and it goes back to it again, it's being used by a character, and yes, the word is being used as an insult against a bully, and that's what upsets the bully, and he goes back to him, and who knows, maybe that is specific for what the writer was planning. Maybe in a future issue you're going to see something come out of that. You don't know, because this is only the first issue. Mm-hmm. And even if this is the last time you see any reference to that action, again, it's just a story that is happening. It's like Mark Twain's book right now that was censored in a lot of schools. A lot of books right now are being censored because of all the stuff they're finding. And it's with literature, you gotta let it live as it was.
Right.
I'm so against censorship with that. So to me, I understand that there were people that were hurt by this, but I don't feel like this instant was something that was malicious in intent at all.
Right, that's it. And you have to understand what's malicious and what's not. And you can't just assume that everything is malicious. Like those books you were talking about that are being censored because of certain words that were used in them. Back when it was written, that wasn't meant maliciously, and now that's what it's become, obviously. But if you read that book and understand that's what the times were, then you don't have a problem. I don't know. I could go on about this for ages.
Those were our thoughts. Maybe this is a hot button issue with Broquettes out there. Maybe you did read Paper Girls and you're like, you know what, I can, I agree with you guys or I disagree. Let us know on Twitter at ReasonsI'mBroke or Facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke.
And if you ask me if I have a soul,
I swear to God.
if one more person asks me.
So next is my pick of the week.
Yeah, really?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 50. Written by Tom Weltz, Bobby Curnow, and Kevin Eastman. With art by Matteo Santoloco and Corey Smith. Colors by Rhonda Pattison.
This was a supersized issue.
Double comic, $8. It's almost a mini trade paperback.
It was cray.
It's also a speculator comic. Like, I've seen speculators come into the shop and they're like, and they're checking the spine, making sure it's a 9.8. Like, okay, I'm not going to read this one. I'm just going to send it off and get it CGC graded.
Are they salivating over it? Like,
no, they can't. It's got to be perfect condition.
Well, I mean, they could salivate off to the side.
This book's never going to be worth $1 million. No. I'm just going to tell you right now.
Unless you burn all the rest of them.
There are events that happen in this, and those are big events, and it's not going to be worth $1 million. I can tell you that right now. So, speculators, sorry. Leave the books there for people that actually want to read the story. TMNT number 50, fucking excellent. Every bit of this was great. My favorite turtle ever had a spotlight. It had a great background on Splinter and Shredder, which was probably the heart of this comic, but it also built on the family aspect of the Turtles as they fight against the Foot Clan, the Foot Clan's minions, the gangs, with Rocksteady and Bebop. All of that is in here. Ton of action, and then the payoff with Splinter and Shredder. It's just absolutely amazing. Like, this is what you read TMNT comics for. There's references to the first movie in this, like a lot of parallels, and it's absolutely wonderful.
It was very, very good book. Obviously not my pick of the week. I love Michelangelo. He's still my favorite. Even
he had a great moment, a moment in the end of this.
A great moment. You leave him alone.
He's a very sensitive turtle.
Yes, he is. And I'm happy for him for being that sensitive turtle. That's why he's my favorite. I met a family the other day. They all had on turtle shirts. And I'm like, oh, who's your favorite turtle? Nobody liked Michelangelo. I've disowned that family.
Not even kids?
No.
Kids love Michelangelo.
They like Raphael and Leonardo.
Angry and cool. No one likes Leonardo.
The dad liked Donatello.
He's got a stick, of course.
I know. And then the mom was like, I don't like any of them. I'm like, get out of here, Mom.
The giant fucking turtles, they're silly.
You're not part of this turtle family.
Silly. They're just a parody of Daredevil from way back when Frank Miller was doing it. Oh, shit. Well, no, I guess you know your shit.
You can say, Mom. Was a very good issue, though. Definitely recommend picking it up. Like we said, it is a little bit of a higher price point, but you definitely get your money's worth out of it.
Even if you want to invest instead on the trade paperback that will include number 50, which would probably be the best economical choice, find a way to read it because it was so good. I loved it. Probably not my favorite comic yet from the series, but it's definitely in the top 3. It was very well done.
Set some big stuff up for continuing forward, too.
Yeah, you can see a relaunch happening, which it's not. It's going to go 51, 52, and so on. But this would have been a point if they wanted to. They can do a new TMNT number 1 and continue the story from here, because it's a perfect endpoint with a couple of loose ends that we'll explore as the comic goes forward.
And our last comic of the week, and our only DC comic, Detective Comics number 45. This is written by Peter J. Tomasi with art by Marcio Takara, and the colorist is Chris Sotomayor. That needs to be... I like Sotomayor better.
Sotomayor. So, new villain, it sounds like, with Detective Comics. Mm-hmm. You see that villain take action in the very first couple of pages.
Spooky!
And this is going to be what establishes Gordon Batman as a member of the Justice League, because they do make an appearance in this comic.
He's not really a member of the Justice League, but we get to see him do detective things, and that's what I want to see from Gordon.
Yeah, we've been talking about the new creative team and how Detective Comics was weaker in the past 5 issues or so. And Peter J. Tomasi, who was one of our favorite Batman writers with Batman and Robin, fucking nailed it. And he's really carrying the comic with this one, too. And Marcio Takara also, another new artist. He used to do, I want to say Miss Marvel, or Captain Marvel, is what he used to work on. And here it continues, and the artwork is gorgeous. The writing is well done. Gordon, he transformed Gordon into like an optimistic version of Batman, but you get to explore the moments in which he is optimistic, where he appreciates the work he's putting in.
Right.
And you see those little moments in here. Like, Peter J. Tomasi can put some heart in the characters, and you're seeing that with this. And there's even a Superman Loves Batman moment as well.
Yes, it was great. He still loves him.
You want the theme song, don't you?
Yes. Through everything, he still loves his man, and you gotta go with it. You gotta appreciate it.
Superman visits once again, because he keeps visiting him in hopes that Bruce will remember being Batman.
The Justice League was sitting around, and they're like, we can't call on Batman because, and Superman's like, let's just try, guys. Let's all go see him. We'll just see how he's doing. We'll just talk to him. We'll see. And they're like, no, we really can't. Guys, come on.
Well, I'm gonna go.
You guys, are you Aquaman? You going? Let's go. Come on. Let's Wonder Woman. Let's Shazam? Yeah, Shazam. I know Shazam wants to go, guys. Come on.
Now, you did notice he didn't pretty himself up like he did as Clark Kent when he visited Batman.
Oh, he still prettied himself up.
It looks the same in this.
Nah, he put on like some cologne or something. They're flying over like, what's that smell? Who put on cologne? We're just gonna go fight and sweat it off. And he's like, well, I've been sweating a lot today. I didn't want to offend Alfred. Alfred.
And yeah, when he visits Bruce, who lost his memory, so he doesn't know that he was Batman, there's a moment in which he holds Bruce's hands a little bit too long, and he thanks him for his service with the Justice League. And what's he trying to do there, Kelly? You tell me.
He's trying to rejog his memories. He's staring real intently into his eyes.
So does he leave upset, or does he leave happy that he got to see him anyway?
It's a bittersweet, because he's sad that he doesn't remember him and what they had, but then he's kind of he's happy because he knows he's not pained anymore and he got to see him. But then he's also hopeful because now that he doesn't remember that he doesn't like Superman, then maybe he has a chance.
That's true.
So there's a lot of emotions going on there.
Maybe he came back gay.
Maybe he'll finally admit that he loves me.
This is the superhero notebook.
Yes!
Bruce Wayne is out of memories.
I love this.
And Superman visits him.
Story. This is the best thing ever.
Superman loves Batman. That's why this matters, Brokettes. This is why it's a good thing.
It's called... would it be the Justice Notebook or the Notebook League?
The Notebook League I like better.
But that sounds like a nerd league.
And Superman Loves Batman is not anywhere in that title.
Superman...
The Superman Loves Batman Notebook. Why can't it just be that?
But that's not even clever.
Who cares? It's a love story. The Notebook isn't clever either. And that's even in the half side of the comic. Like, you see Gordon running around, and he's Batman. And a lot of that is awesome. In the hands of Peter J. Tomasi, Is Gordon more bearable for you?
More bearable, I guess.
How do you think he works with the League?
I think he works okay. I like that they went to him, not because his name is Batman, but because he's a detective.
Right.
I really, really appreciated and liked that, because that's what I was wanting to see from Gordon. Not, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Whoa, powers.
He knew what he was doing in this fucking comic.
Right.
Yeah.
And I like that, and I appreciate that. So I'm glad that we're starting to see that. Still, the heart and the soul and the best part of this comic for me was Superman and Batman. Just being in love. Being bros.
No bad comics this week.
No, they were all
excellent.
great. Yeah.
Granted, it was a tiny list, but all very strong entries and very, very good stuff here. So to summarize, my pick of the week was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 50.
And I had 2 picks of the week. They were Anne Bonny number 6 and Paper Girls number 1.
No passes of the week, and that is actually everything for our comic book reviews this week, as well as our news. We do want to remind you to follow us on Twitter at ReasonsI'mBroke, as well as Facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke. You can find the link to this, though, on nerdupmedia.com. Just click on the Reasons I'm Broke logo.
And while you're on our website, you can click on the shop. There you can buy t-shirts with our Nerd Up Media logo in different men's and women's sizes in a variety of colors.
For $16.99, it includes shipping, and you can pick your design and colors, including the Reasons I'm Broke exclusive purple t-shirt on there.
Yeah!
But if you think $16.99 is a bit hefty, as we mentioned earlier, the Patreon's always there. The reviews on iTunes are absolutely free, and you tuning in every week is always a huge help.
That will do it for us this week, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can go ahead and put away those credit cards and those dollars, because we will not be any more poor this week until bills come through. So, once again, thank you guys so much. I'm Daniel. I got you, kid.
I'm Daniel, and you're Kelli.
I'm Kelli. We'll see you next week.